Continuing from the last chapter, the 8 ancient clans and the Sky Mansion Alliance have launched a joint assault on the Soul Clan. On the giant gate shrouded in black mist, Shiao Yin sat cross-legged, his gaze filled with mockery as he observed Hun Yuan-Tian's eyes turning blood-red with rage. Had Hun Yuan-Tian engaged him directly when he was pulled into the gate of deathly silence, he might have been suppressed somewhat. However, Hun Yuan-Tian had underestimated the situation, believing that the deathly aura from the gate alone could gradually weaken him. What he didn't anticipate was that the deathly aura was countered by the pure lotus demon flame, and Shiao Yin had even detected the hidden soul stone within the gate. The soul stone was arguably the most crucial element of the gate of deathly silence. Hun Yuan-Tian had thought he had concealed it deeply, but he forgot that Shiao Yin, with his Emperor Realm soul, could detect the entire space of the gate with a mere thought. No matter how well the soul stone was hidden, it was exposed under Shiao Yan's probing. Finding the soul stone, coupled with Shiao Yan's soul power vastly surpassing Hun Yuan-Tian's, made erasing the soul imprint left on it a simple task. This was a flaw in the gate of deathly silence. However, how many in this world have reached the Emperor Realm of soul power? Hun Yuan-Tian made a grave mistake, and it was this mistake that led to him losing control over the gate. Shiao Yin, I'll tear you to shreds. Hun Yuan-Tian snarled, his teeth clenched. His arm shot up, and black energy violently coalesced in his palm. A foul, soul-piercing stench rapidly spread. Seeing this, Shiao Yin sneered, suddenly rising. His hand signs shifted, and a massive phantom, 1,000 feet tall, formed outside his body. Waves of soul energy surged like crashing waves. Netherworld Heavenly Wrath. Now, as he unleashed the Netherworld Heavenly Wrath, the colossal figure was no longer merely a phantom. It was now solidified with flowing light and seemed like a giant towering between heaven and earth. A dominating aura of soul energy spread across the battlefield, causing most of the strong figures on both sides to pale in fear and retreat hastily. Under such pressure, many felt an overwhelming urge to kneel, an impulse spreading from their souls. As the 1,000-foot figure emerged, the giant's mouth opened, and the world fell into eerie silence. Only the tangible soul sound waves surged from the giant's mouth, ultimately crashing into Hun Yuan-Tian, who was already horrified. With no time to defend, Hun Yuan-Tian's ears bled from the shock. The impact hit him like a cannon blast, causing him to spurt blood and turn as pale as a ghost. His soul was severely wounded in that moment. The soul shockwave sent Hun Yuan-Tian flying, also toppling many Soul Clan experts along the way. Some of the weaker ones had their souls shattered on the spot. An Emperor Realm soul truly was terrifying. In the sky, where the soul impact had passed, a vast expanse was left blank. The previously chaotic battlefield was momentarily stalled by this scene. Both sides, looking at the giant towering between heaven and earth, were filled with deep astonishment. The dark clouds hanging in the sky swirled violently, with a strong aura of death spreading out. In another part of the sky, 3 immense energies suddenly clashed violently. Black flames erupted, and 2 figures, slightly disheveled, were blasted backward. As they stabilized themselves, it became clear that the figures were Lei Ying and Yanji. Their opponent was obviously the void-swallowing flame. Despite their combined efforts, they had failed to gain any advantage over it. The strength of a 9-star Doshang was indeed formidable, and the power of void-swallowing flame could not be measured by ordinary 9-star Doshang standards. Its terrifying devouring power was enough to defeat opponents of the same level. Lei Ying and Yin Jin calmed their turbulent energies, their faces grim. Despite using all their methods, they had not managed to gain the upper hand. If this continued, they might end up wounded. The battlefield is too entrenched. The Soul Clan's strength is far beyond what we understood, Lei Ying said, scanning the scene quickly. He saw many Lei Clan experts falling, which pained him, but it was the harsh reality of war. Yin Jin nodded slightly. Given the current situation, it was bound to be a brutal battle. Regardless of the cost, they had to reclaim some of the ancient jade, as they knew that once the Soul Clan opened the Tuasha Ancient Emperor's Cave and uncovered the secrets to advancing to Do Di, One of them alone could wipe out the three clans. That would be the real extinction crisis. We can't give up. The two exchanged determined glances, seeing the resolve in each other's eyes. No matter how fierce the battle was, they still had some numerical advantage for now. The Soul Clan has been planning for hundreds, even thousands of years to gather the ancient jade. If you break it so easily, it would be too far-fetched. Void swallowing flame, stepping through the void, reappeared before them with a cold smile. Lei Ying and Yin Jin's faces flashed with cold light. Just as they were about to move, a slightly urgent voice suddenly rang in their ears. Withdraw quickly, the situation has changed. The sudden voice stunned them, and their expressions changed drastically when they recognized it as Gu Yuan's. What could be so urgent that even he was hurried? While they were taken aback, the black clouds covering the sky suddenly emitted a strange buzzing sound, and waves of chilling aura quickly spread out. Is it finally happening? Hearing the buzzing sound, Void Swallowing Flame looked up, feeling a slight sense of relief. The combined strength of the three clans and the Sky Mansion Alliance indeed exceeded that of the Soul Clan. If no action were taken soon, many Soul Clan experts would perish here. The buzzing sound grew increasingly urgent. At the same time, several indescribably malevolent auras slowly emerged from the black clouds. Under this ominous change, the entire battlefield looked up, their eyes filled with confusion and vigilance toward the dark clouds. Suddenly, the black clouds churned, and several dark shadows shot out from them, perfectly positioned at various points in the sky. Are those coffins? The onlookers were stunned as they saw what emerged from the black mist. 3 black coffins. The chilling and sinister aura was seeping out from these coffins. The 3 black coffins hovered in the air. The lids were suddenly flung open, and 3 skeletal, emaciated figures slowly stepped out. In an instant, an aura even more terrifying than Hun Yuan Tian surged forth from these 3 figures, causing the coalition forces' expressions to change drastically. Hun Sheng Tian? Hun Yao? How could these old bastards still be alive? Seeing these 3 figures, Lei Ying and Yin Jin's eyes narrowed in shock. These 3 were highly ranked within the Soul Clan and were supposed to have perished long ago. How could they possibly reappear now? Shiao Yin, sitting on the black giant gate, also gasped at this sight. 3 more 8-star Doshungs? And their auras were even comparable to Lei Ying and Yin Jin. Wait, something's off about their auras. Shiao Yan's keen senses detected something amiss almost instantly. He noticed a deathly aura on these 3 that was several times more intense than Hun Yuan Tian's. Are these 3 undead? Shiao Yan's eyes twitched as he muttered to himself. Undead, like puppets but at a higher level, are revived using some unique method. This method is extremely harsh and rare because resurrecting the dead is fraught with difficulties and low chances. Typically, powerful figures have their bodies guarded by their families or sects after death. No one wishes to see their predecessors' bodies desecrated even after death. Evidently, the Soul Clan had used some method to turn these deceased Soul Clan experts into undead, allowing them to fight once more. Was this the hidden power of the Soul Clan? With Hun Yuan Tian included, that would make 4 8-star Doshungs. Such strength could potentially tilt the balance of the war in favor of the Soul Clan. 4 directions extinction, realm of death. In the sky, the 3 figures opened their mouths, and 3 glowing points shot out, ultimately transforming into 3 massive black gates 1,000 feet tall. These gates, filled with a deathly aura, were clearly 3 more gates of deathly silence. The black gates stood at 3 points in the sky, and the deathly aura surged out, enveloping the entire area. The coalition forces were horrified to find their vitality gradually draining under the influence of this deathly aura. The 3 gates formed a formation, surrounding all the coalition forces. It seemed they intended to use this to deliver a crushing blow to the coalition. Lei Ying and Yin Jin's expressions changed drastically at this moment. They clearly recognized the fearsome formation from ancient times and immediately shouted, "Retreat! Hun Yuan Tian, return to the formation, summon the gates of deathly silence, and complete the formation." Seeing the coalition forces trying to retreat, one of the emaciated old men among the 3 barked sternly, quickly retreat. Upon hearing the old man's command, Lei Ying and Yin Jin's hearts raced even faster. If the formation was completed, the losses today would be catastrophic. Hun Yuan Tian, in a disheveled state, quickly ascended into the sky. Looking at the three men, his face alternated between pale and red. After a moment, he hoarsely said, "The gates of deathly silence were taken by that Shiao Yin." The gates of deathly silence were taken? Upon hearing Hun Yuan Tian's words, the expressions of the three emaciated old men became extremely grim. One of them couldn't help but scold, "Hun Yuan Tian, we've spent years devising and finally managed to form 4 gates of deathly silence, and you managed to lose them in such a short time?" Hun Yuan Tian's expression was one of fluctuating anger. He hadn't expected such a small oversight to give Shiao Yin the chance to act. The formation they had established was a formidable array from the central continent's past, and with 4 gates of deathly silence, it could create a realm of death. Any strong cultivator caught within it, even a 7-star or 8-star Do Sheng, would be enveloped by endless deathly aura and gradually sink into despair. If the formation had been successfully executed, it would have inflicted severe losses on the coalition forces. But no one had anticipated such a turn of events at this crucial moment. That kid actually reached the Emperor Soul level. I didn't expect him to find the soul stones hidden in the gates of deathly silence so quickly and erase my soul mark. Hun Yuan Tian gritted his teeth and said, extremely unwilling, "What do we do now? Our vitality is already low. Any further action will deplete our remaining vitality. We will need to rest for a while before we can act again. If another battle breaks out during this time, we won't be able to participate." One of the emaciated old men glared at Hun Yuan Tian in anger, then turned to the other two and said, "The price has been paid, so we cannot afford to waste it. We must proceed with the formation and attempt to heavily damage the coalition forces. As long as our soul clan can locate and open the ancient emperor's cave, the clan leader will be able to advance to the rumored Do Emperor level. At that point, even if we need to revive ourselves, it will not be difficult," said another gray-faced old man, his eyes flashing ominously. The other two nodded in agreement. Given the current situation, this was the only course of action. "Hun Yuan Tian, are you not returning to your position? If I had known this would happen, I would never have let you act prematurely to save Hun Feng. Now, not only did you fail to save him, but you also delayed our clan's major plan. If you weren't also an elder of our clan, I would kill you on the spot." The gray-faced elder snapped at Hun Yuan Tian. Realizing the severity of the situation, Hun Yuan Tian, despite his grim expression, said nothing further. He reluctantly turned around, his figure flashing as he appeared at one side of the sky. Dense, deathly aura surged from his palm, connecting with the 3 gates of deathly silence. Instantly, a dark realm enveloped the entire mountain range, with deathly energy eroding all life within it. "Shiao Yin, once I capture you, I will make sure you can neither live nor die." The surging death aura from Hun Yuan Tian's body, combined with a cruel and sinister look on his face, painted a terrifying picture. As the overwhelming deathly energy spread, the coalition forces gathered together, their eyes warily watching the surrounding black mist. They could feel the deathly aura infiltrating their bodies through every crack, and this infiltration could not be stopped by either Do Qi or spiritual power. This is the legendary realm of death formation. I didn't expect even the Soul Clan to deploy it. Lei Ying, Yin Jin, and many powerful members of the ancient clan looked at the pervasive deathly energy with grave expressions. They were increasingly uneasy. Even if the top experts among them could withstand it, those with lesser strength would suffer greatly, and such losses were unbearable. "We must break out as soon as possible," ancient King Gulai said with a serious expression. Earlier, he had been blocked by 2 7-star Do Sheng experts from the Soul Clan. The battle had been earth-shattering. As for the 3 powerful Soul Clan members whose strength matched that of the 4 demon saints, Gulai had never even heard of them before. Clearly, these were hidden forces of the Soul Clan, far stronger than the ancient clan. Without the alliance with the Yin and Lei clans and the Tianfu alliance, it would have been nearly impossible for the ancient clan alone to contend with the Soul Clan. "It's difficult," This place has already been turned into a realm of death, and these deathly auras can isolate soul detection. Blindly charging in will only deplete our strength more rapidly, Yin Jin said gravely. But staying here is equally perilous, Gu Dao, one of the 3 immortals of the ancient clan, said with a bitter smile. It seemed they were stuck in a difficult position. Chief Gu Yuan is likely being restrained by Soul Emperor. It may be too difficult to intervene, said the fire spirit fairy of the Yin clan. Her face, once charming, was now serious, and her aura was slightly sluggish, indicating she had sustained some injuries in the recent battle. The group fell into silence, not expecting the previously manageable situation to suddenly turn so dire. As the group pondered their predicament, a faint sound of breaking wind emerged from the all-encompassing deathly aura. Soon, numerous black spears imbued with dense deathly energy shot out from the surroundings. The sudden attack threw the coalition forces into chaos. The black spears, carrying strong deathly energy, were only partially countered by Doqi defenses. Several coalition experts were pierced through by the spears, collapsing to the ground as piles of withered bones, with wisps of black gas seeping out. Damned! Seeing the coalition forces in a passive position, Lei Ying and the others' faces darkened. Just as they were about to force their way out of the realm of death, the deathly aura in front suddenly writhed violently, and then a black giant door flashed into view. Don't attack, it's me. Seeing the familiar giant door that matched the previous 3, the coalition forces were initially startled. However, before they could launch an attack, a familiar voice came from the giant door. Shiao Yin? Hearing this, Lei Ying and the others were overjoyed. They looked up at the top of the black giant door, where a young figure stood. Indeed, it was Shiao Yin. Follow me. Although this realm of death is strange, one of the deathly silence gates they used to construct the formation was taken by me. Therefore, the formation is not complete. We should break out from the weakest point of the formation. Shiao Yin, looking down from above, said solemnly. Hearing this, Lei Ying and the others were visibly relieved. With the situation being urgent, there was no time for further questions. They quickly took to the air, a large number of strong experts following. Move out, Shiao Yin commanded. He then snapped his fingers, and the massive deathly silence gate beneath him floated upwards, covering the army. A strong suction force erupted from it, drawing all the deathly auras nearby into it. With the deathly aura's erosion gone, the coalition forces felt an immediate drop in pressure. The Doqi within them, which had been sluggish, quickly returned to normal. This kid really has some skills, even managing to seize a deathly silence gate. Lei Ying, Yin Jin, Gulai, and others thought with great relief. They were glad that Shiao Yin had managed to take one of the deathly silence gates. Otherwise, once the formation was perfected, the coalition would have faced devastating losses. After all, ancient tales spoke of sects being completely annihilated by such lethal formations. As the coalition forces quickly moved towards the exit of the realm of death, it seemed that the Soul Clan's experts had noticed. The pervasive deathly aura surged and then transformed into a massive deathly hand thousands of meters long, which came crashing down angrily towards the coalition forces. Shiao Yin's figure flashed and appeared in the sky. Shiao Yin materialized on his shoulder. With Shiao Yin having reached the Emperor Realm of the Soul, Shiao Yi's aura had become quite terrifying, even stronger than the pure lotus demon fire in the demon fire space. Shiao Yi appeared and, opening its mouth, spewed out a vast amount of pure lotus demon fire. The fire collided fiercely with the deathly giant hand, causing a loud, hissing sound to fill the air, and a strong, putrid smell spread out. As Shiao Yi blocked the giant hand, Shiao Yin changed his hand seal. A massive figure reappeared on his body's surface. With a mouthful, a tremendous soul shockwave emerged, turning into a storm that swept through the area. This soul shockwave dispersed the deathly aura engulfing the space. An indistinct, slightly dim space appeared not far from the coalition forces, and beyond the formless barrier, a figure floated. It was Hun Yuan Tian. Lei Ying, Yin Jin, patriarch of the Yin clan, let's attack together and break through this space. Shiao Yin shouted coldly upon seeing the figure. Hearing Shiao Yan's command, Lei Ying and the others quickly nodded. Instantly, the Do Chi in the heavens surged, and several terrifying attacks erupted in an instant. Under Hun Yuan Tian's changing expression, these attacks slammed fiercely into the barrier. Faced with the barrage from several top experts, the formless barrier began to tremble violently, eventually emitting a loud creaking sound before exploding with a sharp crack. As the formless barrier shattered, the deathly aura in the world quickly dissipated, and warm sunlight once again poured down from the sky. When the realm of death was breached, the three withered old men in the sky turned pale, spewing out a mouthful of blood. Their eyes were filled with a dark and grim expression as they realized that their plan to heavily damage the coalition forces today was likely to fail. The warm sunlight poured down like a waterfall from the sky, and under its illumination, the pervasive deathly aura rapidly receded. Once the surrounding deathly aura had dissipated, Lei Ying and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Looking around, they found themselves still within the burial sky mountains, but the mountains were now completely devoid of vitality, evidently having been thoroughly eroded by the previous deathly aura. In the sky, not far from the coalition forces, the dark figure of the Soul Clan's experts hovered, their eyes filled with fierce intent as they stared at the coalition forces. However, some of the higher-ups among them had slightly grim expressions, clearly not expecting the so-called ultimate killing formation to cause much damage to the coalition forces. What's going on? How could the realm of death be breached so easily? Void Devouring Flame's face darkened rapidly as he looked at Hun Yuan Tian and the others, his voice filled with anger. Seeing Void Devouring Flame's fury, Hun Yuan Tian and the others could only smile wryly. The gray-faced elder hesitated before honestly explaining Hun Yuan Tian's deathly silence gate was seized by Shiao Yin, which prevented the formation from being completed. Shiao Yin used the ability of the deathly silence gate to protect the coalition forces and then launched a combined attack, forcibly breaking through the area guarded by Hun Yuan Tian. Bastard! How could such an important thing be stolen? What use are you now? Void Devouring Flame's eyes blazed with fury. He glared at Hun Yuan Tian and struck down with his palm, causing the space to collapse. The black flame palm wind struck Hun Yuan Tian's body with lightning speed, causing the already injured Hun Yuan Tian's aura to immediately diminish. He gritted his teeth and remained silent, enduring the punishment. Void Devouring Flame's status in the Soul Clan was almost comparable to the Soul Emperor's. Without him, the Soul Clan would not have lasted this long. Lord Void Devouring Flame, it is pointless to be angry now. The coalition forces have suffered minimal losses and still possess combat capability. However, we have exhausted our life force and cannot deploy the formation again, the gray-faced elder sighed and advised. Although Hun Yuan Tian had made an extremely foolish mistake, he was still a veteran of the Soul Clan. Killing him at this moment would be a significant loss for the Soul Clan. Void Devouring Flame's face remained grim. He glanced at the coalition forces in the distance. Although they had suffered some losses in the realm of death, it was evidently not severe. Their combat strength remained formidable. Withdraw for now. Void Devouring Flame, take action. Came a cold voice suddenly in their ears, causing them to shiver. It was the voice of the Soul Emperor. Hearing this, Void Devouring Flame snorted coldly, giving Hun Yuan Tian, who was pale, a final fierce glare. However, he did not disobey the Soul Emperor's command. Taking a deep breath, his body suddenly began to expand wildly, and torrents of black flames erupted from him, quickly enveloping the entire sky. In an instant, the lush forests of the burial sky mountains below were reduced to nothingness, and even the rocks turned to dust. Seeing Void Devouring Flame's actions, the coalition forces became increasingly alert. Shiao Yan's face grew serious as he soared into the sky. Little E, on his shoulder, displayed its claws and fangs, and the pink net lotus demon fire spread out, forming a massive fire curtain that enveloped the coalition forces. With Shiao Yan's current soul power, he could easily maximize the power of the net lotus demon fire. Void Devouring Flame cast a cold glance at Shiao Yin. A deep, beast-like roar emanated from his throat, and suddenly, his body, now inflated to hundreds of feet in size, exploded violently. The sudden explosion caused the entire world to shake violently. As the black flames covered the sky, the area where void-devouring flame's body had exploded began to gather black flames at an extremely terrifying speed. Within a few breaths, a rapidly spinning black flame vortex appeared in the sky. Seeing the formation of the black vortex, many Soul Clan experts seemed to receive orders, quickly moving and directing their attacks toward the black vortex without hesitation. They're trying to escape. Seeing this, Lei Ying and the others' expressions changed immediately. Numerous powerful figures quickly ascended, and without needing a command, torrents of mighty Do Chi shot out, bombarding the black vortex from all directions. Facing the relentless attacks from the coalition forces, a cold snort echoed from within the black vortex. Immediately, the black flames erupted like a volcanic explosion, clashing with the attacks and unleashing a devouring force that wildly absorbed the incoming attacks. Want to escape? It's not that easy. Shiao Yin, having discerned their intentions, sneered coldly. Changing his hand seals, his 1,000-foot figure reappeared. With his current Empyrean soul power, his Yellow Spring's heavenly rage was even more terrifying than his Destruction Lotus Flame. This kind of oppressive attack, especially for those whose soul power was inferior to his, was not something that could be easily recovered from. His figure appeared, and the earth-shattering soul shock shot out at an astonishing speed. Under this soul shock, even the devouring force of the black flames was forcibly shattered. The soul shock collided violently with the black vortex, causing the bodies of at least 100 Soul Clan experts to explode into blood mist, scattering outside the vortex. Struck directly by the soul shock, the black vortex trembled violently. A deep, muffled groan could be faintly heard, indicating that even void-devouring flame was struggling against this assault. Attack together. Seeing that the Yellow Spring's heavenly rage had some effect but still failed to disperse the black vortex, Shiao Yan's brows furrowed as he shouted solemnly. Currently, due to Gu Yuan being preoccupied, the Allied forces have been quite cooperative with Shiao Yan's commands. Even Lei Ying and the others, after witnessing the formidable power of Shiao Yan's soul force, secretly nodded in agreement. Judging by his combat abilities, Shiao Yin is now on par with them. Upon hearing Shiao Yan's command, a large number of powerful fighters immediately took to the sky, unleashing various Do techniques in an instant. The ground trembled under the vast offensive that blotted out the sky. Even someone as powerful as the void-swallowing flame might feel a bit overwhelmed under such a dense barrage. Faced with this terrifying formation, a rapid humming sound emerged from within the black hole. Countless beams of black light shot out, converging into a massive black beam that collided fiercely with the Allied forces' offensive in the sky. Instantly, an indescribable ripple of terrifying energy spread wildly across the sky. The entire mountain range was shattered into two halves by the residual impact, and a massive abyss, spanning thousands of feet, extended from the mountain range to the horizon. Leave them here. Do not let them escape with the ancient jade. Shiao Yin raised his head, his eyes reflecting the dazzling fireworks in the sky, and shouted. All the true powerhouses of the Allied forces unleashed their strongest attacks at this moment. The heavens and earth changed color, and spectators from afar were terrified, some collapsing to the ground in shock, witnessing such a formidable assault for the first time in their lives. Damn it! From within the black hole, the enraged voice of the void-swallowing flame echoed. This was a formation he could not withstand. The terrifying attacks reached almost instantaneously. However, just as they were about to strike the black hole, a tall figure suddenly appeared. His expression was grim, and with a fierce tear of his palms, a colossal spatial rift thousands of feet long was ripped open, swallowing all of Shiao Yin and the others' powerful attacks. Emperor of the Soul. Seeing the figure that had intervened, Shiao Yin and the others' faces immediately darkened. As the Emperor of the Soul appeared, the space beside Shiao Yin fluctuated, and Gu Yuan emerged. His long hair was disheveled, and a terrifying aura that even made Shiao Yan's heart tremble quietly spread out, causing the surrounding space to continuously collapse and repair itself. Shiao Yin, well done. The Emperor of the Soul, whose face had been indifferent, was now filled with cold, killing intent. He clearly understood that Shiao Yin's seizure of the Gate of Deathly Silence had completely thwarted the Soul Clan's plan to heavily damage the allied forces here. Shiao Yin also stared at the Emperor of the Soul with a dark expression, his eyes full of undisguised killing intent. He too wished to eliminate the Emperor of the Soul. Gu Yuan, this time you are lucky. However, I have now gathered all the ancient jade. Once I advance to Do Di, it will be the end for your 3 clans and the Sky Mansion Alliance on the continent of Do Chi. The Emperor of the Soul looked at Shiao Yin, then shifted his gaze to Gu Yuan, a sinister smile appearing on his face. His body slowly retreated, and he stepped into the black hole. With a flicker, the black hole quickly dissipated, and the black flames that filled the sky also rapidly faded away. Gu Yuan, just wait. The next time we meet, you will be groveling at my feet. Ha ha ha. As the black hole dissipated, the sinister laughter of the Emperor of the Soul still echoed through the heavens and earth, lingering for a long time. Shiao Yin stared at the spot where the black hole had vanished, his expression icy cold. His fists clenched tightly in frustration. Despite the combined efforts of the 3 clans and the Sky Mansion Alliance, they had failed to capture the Soul Clan. The strength of the latter was simply too overwhelming.